and I'll give you a really good example of this, anyone who remembers Trevor Boucher, who was the tax commissioner in the 80s. But Trevor had 2 people working for him in his media unit, and what they did was pretty much pass on every call they got from specialist writers to basically the divisional or the section head, who were given media training and basically taught to not fear the media. Now, the police work a variation on this, but the police are obviously in a slightly more corruptible business than revenue collection. Now, I haven't made contact with the tax office for about 15 years, 10 years maybe, because I've got like a media unit of about 120 people now. And I'm not making this up. And basically, the first call you put in, it takes about a week for it to get returned to you. And this is why you've actually, without realising it, by trying to control the information. I know no one in this room is guilty of any of this, but some politicians they work for are certainly guilty of it. In trying to control this information, you've placed a phony premium on what it is you're trying to protect. You're making it seem a lot more exotic than it is, and you're making us mad. So what you're making us do is go hunt some of the strangest things just to prove it, that we could pull one over your eyes. Now, I could give you the leak cycle for any standard semi-literate journalist in Australia. They get their leak, they give it a good run, and then the next day they ring somebody else in the system and say, can I have the memo that says you're not allowed to talk to the media? And that's always the day 2. If you watch this, it's always the day 2 follow on the big leaks. It's the second leak is some poor person has been empowered, a department head or something has been told by the minister to send out an all-points bulletin to the department saying thou shall not talk to the media. That is the thing that will leak next after the first leak. So that's a long way of getting around to the question on FOI. I don't use it anymore because I know how time-consuming it is and it doesn't get me what I'm looking for. And the way the system works now, if I can't ask a precise question, you know, like that, before the prequels, the first Star Wars where he used the Force to go straight down the chute, if I can't, you know, to within a decimal point being able to specify what I'm looking for, I won't get it. Which means that what we do, because we know we can't get that sort of stuff, is that we then cast the widest drift net possible and tie up bureaucracies for weeks, months and years. Give me everything you've got on bracket creep. And then they go, no. But if you'd asked a specific question and they thought, oh, hang on a minute, it probably doesn't hurt the public debate to let this out, I would have let it out on day 1. But that's where FOIs ended up. I'd actually probably reverse the onus now. And you watch how hard it will be for a bureaucracy or for a government essentially to be able to say this should be protected. I'd go open source, except in cabinet and confidence stuff. Basically any bit of policy advice on something that's been actioned that actually informs how, you know, basically the mechanics of the policy should be out there. Now I know that sounds a bit radical. You might have to change the way you write some of these things. WikiLeaks will do this to you anyway, whether you want to or not. But I'd reverse the onus on FOI. Somebody has to prove to somebody why this particular information can't come out. So the answer should be yes, unless. So that's a 3-part answer.
Thank you very, very much. It's been really great, George. You've met and exceeded our very high expectations for you. So we've all appreciated it.
Cheers. Thank you, Robert.